Hi, so for my mini lesson assignment, I did 3 mini lessons. One was to use a planner, the second one was to do test taking, and then the third one is mathematics. Content area would be like operations. So for my first mini lesson is using a planner. The rationale behind it was basically to be able to use a planner is a very important organization skill that helps adolescents stay organized with everything life throws at them, such as assignments, doctor's appointments, birthdays, dates, holidays, etc. It helps the students stay on task and keep a list of important assignments and dates that can help limit stress and forgetfulness. Physically, writing out an assignment or date and saying it aloud helps the mind remember what you're trying to remember, remember the memo. So I came up with the steps on how I like to stay organized and write them. This is how I would teach them. First, to make a list of all the important due dates. For example, if you have a math test Monday, a science test Tuesday, write them out for the week on a separate piece of paper. Second, write it in the agenda book. Nowadays, many high schools give an agenda book to the students, so we go through the days of the week and write out the assignment for that day. Third, we're going to say it out loud. This can be to the student itself, just saying, math test Friday, or as a whole class, because normally we might have the same exact assignment due on the same day, so we could say it out loud. And then fourth, after everything's done, we cross it off, because there's no better feeling than crossing off something from a list. The assessment that I would do would be collect agenda books weekly. So you would check them weekly if the assignments are written down on the correct due date and crossed off. I came up with a point system for the students. I have 9 points, so they'd get 3 points if the assignment is written down, 3 points from the correct due date, 3 points for the correct assignment crossed off. Really easy to get the points if they follow the directions. Another example of assessment that I would also would be collecting data and to observe. For example, to show if the strategy is effective, the teacher will have to collect data throughout the week regarding if the student is completing their work on time or turning it in late. If late work occurs, the strategy is not effective because the student is not tracking assignments effectively and efficiently. The teacher will be using frequency recording, which will allow the teacher to count how many times the desired outcome occurs. An example would be, RJ completed his homework on the due date 4 out of 5 times this week. So for my second mini lesson, I decided to take the content area of test taking. The rationale that I would explain to my students is that test taking is a very important skill to have. Almost everyone struggles with taking tests because of test anxiety. I know I have it. During this lesson, the teacher will give the student steps to help ease test anxiety and to make sure the student is prepared for success. The teacher will be using the SCORE method, which is 6 easy steps to ease anxiety and to set the student up for success. Okay, so for the steps that I came up with for test taking, we did the S for schedule time, the C for clue words, O for omit difficult questions, R for read carefully, E, estimate answers, and R, review work. So just to kind of give an overview of what I would tell the students, SCORE is what we would call it. So for the S, schedule time. So this will allow the student to review entire test and plan the test accordingly, kind of flip through it to see if there's true or false multiple choice essay, to kind of allot time for the different question types. The C goes for clue words. This is where the student will take time to look for certain clue words in the directions, circle, highlight, maybe trick, true or false clue words. For example, true or false items such as always or never might indicate a statement is false, so they could circle those. The O is for omit difficult questions. So what the book was trying to say is to obviously do the easy questions first and skip over the hard ones and then come back to them. So at least they get all the points that they at least know. R is for read carefully. Careful reading of test directions and each item could definitely improve test performance. The E is for estimate answers. Usually on math, if you don't know the correct answer, you could probably estimate it to the right answer. For example, on test items requiring calculations or problem solving, the student might want to estimate the answers. Yes, estimations help correct careless errors. The R is for review your work. So the student should be encouraged to use every minute available to review their work. So they should go through their test once, do it, and then double check their answers. I think we were all taught that in school. So for the assessment for the mini lesson on test taking, I would do observation, and more observation. The overall assessment would be from observations from the teacher. The teacher will observe students during the test taking process to see if the student is engaging in the score method. For example, if the teacher might observe a student flipping through the test to practice scheduling time, or a student may highlight clue words to practice, the clue word step. Another observation would be the teacher should also observe an increase in the scores of the test. If no scores are increased over time, maybe the teacher should reevaluate the test-taking skills and strategies that were taught. Kind of see if there's anything else that maybe will help the student become a better test taker. For my third main lesson, I picked the orders of operation. Mathematics has my content area. I actually learned this in my middle school and it sticks with me to this very day because it's drilled into my head. PEMDAS, which stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. This is, the orders of operation in which you have to solve a correct problem. So the rationale that I came up with behind PEMDAS that I would tell the students is that learning the order of operation is very important in mathematics. Mathematics obviously builds upon itself and it is important to have an understanding of the basics before moving on to a higher topic. The order of operations is usually taught in pre-algebra because it is the basics for learning the formats of equations. The teacher will be showing the students PEMDAS as a way to remember the order of operations. So, as I stated before, the steps I would do is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So you have to do this in the right order in order to get the correct problem. For assessment, I would observe the student, collect their work, and then grade. The teacher will observe students while they do their work to make sure they are doing the proper format of the math equation. This is where the teacher will walk around, kind of look at their scratch work, their worksheets that they're doing, and make sure that they're going through the PEMDAS steps. And then the teacher will know if they get the wrong answer, if they're doing it correctly or not, by knowing the answer that they get. Secondly, the teacher will make the students show their work and collect the scratch paper for points, of course, because high schoolers and middle schoolers don't exactly like to show their work if that's not anything in it for them. So in order to make sure that they know the PEMDAS steps, the teachers are going to have to collect their work to make sure that they are doing the factor or solving tree that I called it. And I have the example down here on my screen to make sure that they're doing the right steps. So they'd have to do, the correct steps in order, whether that be 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, or how many they need to get the right answer till it's only the exact answer at the bottom. And thirdly, the teacher will grade the students' work based on PEMDAS and the solving tree. So, like I said, the solving tree is how they would show their steps to make sure that they're doing everything correctly, and it also helps the teacher easily find error in it if they do it step by step. and you'd obviously know if they get the right answer and doing the PEMDAS correctly if they got the right answer at the very end.